The audio that follows consists of 3 folk tales selected from Poland: the beginning of the earth, the first springtime, and the creation of sun and moon. These stories were often told in late March and April as part of the springtime holidays. You can learn more at the end of this video. The beginning of the earth. In the beginning there was nothing, except the sky, the sea, God who sailed the sea by boat, and Devil who emerged from the sea foam. He sat down in the boat to face God, and he suggested to God his plan to create Earth, for it wasn't in his power alone to accomplish this. After listening, God agreed to his plans, so the Devil dived deep into the Black Sea. From the bottom, he scooped a handful of sand, which he returned to the surface with, and he presented it to God. Taking the sand, God threw it onto the water, and it sprouted into a small island, so thin that the two could barely fit on its surface, and this is where they lived. Eventually, God had to sleep, and as God slept, the Devil schemed. He pushed mightily against God to send him tumbling into the water so that all of the land could be taken for himself. But as he pushed God, the land beneath God decided to keep him dry, expanding itself east so the Creator could not be soaked. And as the Devil strained, his feet slid. The land beneath him grew into the west. After much straining, God awoke to catch the Devil in this betrayal. They began to fight. At length, God leapt into the sky, produced an arc of fiery lightning, and with it he cast the Devil deep into the abyssal sea. Defeated, the Devil fell and fell until he returned to the bottom. From here, God made his home in the heavens over the land, and the Devil remained below. Not content with his new lot in life, the Devil tried a few times to better his position from the world below. On one occasion, Devil sent up a waterfall to Earth to gather soil so it could be brought back and he could build out his new home. The waterfowl flew up to Earth, scooped soil into her beak, then brought it back to her lord. Soon enough, God noticed many holes over the landscape, which had been filled with water, so he appointed a hawk with keen eyes to watch over the lands. Waterfowl returned, scooping soil into her beak, and Hawk swooped down and captured her in his talons. She screamed, and the soil spilled from her beak, landing here and there, springing into uplands and hills. So Waterfowl slunk back to the world below, where the Devil took pity on her. He released her from service, and she flew up to Earth, and now lives in the low places of the world. Now the Devil produced a snake from his coat and released it into the top of the world below. Snake burrowed through the soil and made himself many kilometers of cavernous homes, where he lived and soon multiplied. His children sprang from the holes in the earth and scooped mouthfuls of soil to take below. The snake children were so slippery that Hawk could not catch them fast enough. So Hawk returned to the world above, informing God of the situation. God was not having this. He took great handfuls of soil and grasped them in his hands, cooking them into stones. He placed them here and there atop the holes which the snake children slithered from, but they found their ways around the stones, so he piled more and more on top of those already laid. The snakes kept finding their ways, so the stones piled so high that they almost came to touch the sky. God pressed his fists into these piles of stone, compressing them into great stone peaks. No snakes could crawl their way through the solid rock, so now the snakes were forced to emerge only in the low places of the world. Here, Hawk could find them easier. There was much less land for him to search, and there were many high places for Hawk to rest. So the snake children hid beneath the waters which pooled in the low places. The first springtime. There was once a time when all the world was like a shoreline. All the hills and valleys were sand and silt and mud. There was nothing which grew. God frowned at this, so one day, from the shine of the sun, a rooster flew and fluttered down to the barren earth, where the rooster roamed. Finding a suitable hill, Rooster sat upon it, then stood, looking down to see that an egg had sprung. So we still say, There is a white world, and in this world is a yellow flower. As the egg was warmed by the light of sun, it soon hatched, and from it sprang all the great rivers, and the yellow flower which rooted in the soil. These rivers reached all the places of the world, and the flower let out its seeds, and these carried in the rivers and the winds. There was a great blooming, fragrant flowers, towering trees, grass and moss soft like cloth. Earth was covered in a vibrant gown of life. When eggs are laid in spring, they are decorated with flowers and lovely symbols. This is how we remember the first spring. Every year we celebrate her return. Every spring is rebirth. Sun and Moon. When God was building the world, 2 lights shone over the sky and sea. He created them to mark the time. One a maiden in brilliant attire, one equipped with the tools of a hero. Sun came out and faced the world, bearing a crown of shimmering light. She smiled at the sky, the sea, and the young earth. Delighted, earth cooed with joy. She admired the beauty of sun. In her light, all the beautiful gardens of earth flourished with color. Moon looked to Sun with jealousy, jealous that he could not hope to equal her radiance. He spoke with pride. "And why do 2 monarchs share the sky throne? Why ought I be second? I could be first. Who do I blame for keeping me from equating her greatness?" Soon after, the light of Sun was blocked from Moon. She slipped from view as mountains of earth rose between them. Suddenly his own light vanished. He was dark, he was pale. Stars sprinkling in the distance were brighter than he. Moon was afraid, then felt shame, and he burst into tears. Between sobs he pleaded, "Have mercy, Father of all." God saw this and softened with kindness. Looking down, he spoke.
"Because Sun's beauty stirred jealousy in your heart, I have separated you to teach you better. From now on, you will make no light of your own. You will be pale, except when Sun illuminates you. Through this, you will need her, and you will be her equal. Together you will rule the throne of the sky with humility and mutual respect. All those tears you wept will go to earth. Misery, through repentance, becomes a blessing on the earth. Tears become dewdrops, scattered on the morning dark. This water will refresh all life. Sun is beautiful, but she shines relentlessly. Some she heals, but others she burns. Your water will heal all those who her beauty harms."
So the king of nighttime stood proudly, a hero in the sky. His tears fell to earth, and the little beings below him also loved him as they loved the queen of the day. He danced around and around the sky, noble and kind. He cried here from joy and there from repentance, and all his tears fell down to earth, beautiful like ocean pearls. Still today, good King Moon still tries to heal those who might ask for help. Poland is home to many hundreds of vibrant and informative folk tales written across 1,000 years of history. A majority of Polish stories have still never been translated to English. To remedy this and make Polish folklore more accessible to English speakers, I've been translating and compiling an entire book of folklore. Many of these tales have never been widely distributed in English before. This book is not quite finished, but we'd like to hear from you listeners. No matter what, the book will be released free of charge as a PDF, downloadable from our YouTube channel, and released under Creative Commons, so any viewers are free to download the book and redistribute it on their own. But additionally, we would like to know if folks would also like an ebook hosted on storefronts like Amazon. That would require a good bit more amount of effort for us to arrange, and it might require a small price to appease certain storefront policies, but it's something we're very open to doing if there's a demand for it. A physical release could also be possible, but would require adequate interest, so please let us know below if you're interested in any of these options. And we'll continue to post small audiobooks of select stories from this collection between our larger videos. Regardless, we hope that everyone has a good springtime season. Our upcoming polytheism video is the largest we've yet made, and we thank you for your patience.